At this time, I'd like to present our distinguished American College of Education commencement speaker. Dr. Eric Ban began his career as a chemistry teacher and a basketball coach. He moved into high school administration before becoming a professor of educational leadership at Indiana University, where he played a key role in developing innovative models of master's degree programming in teacher leadership. Dr. Ban was one of the founding professors of the American College of Education. He was instrumental in developing the design of our programs, how much applied research there is in them, the platform, and the emphasis on always authentic learning opportunities. Those of you graduating from our Ed Leadership program will recognize Dr. Ban as the guest lecturer for EL 562, Developing Teachers, and those of you in Curriculum and Instruction will recognize Dr. Ban as the guest lecturer and course author of CI 539, Teacher Leadership. Inspired by the leadership programs he helped develop, he recently returned to K-12 as a high school principal. In just 2 years at Crown Point High School, Crown Point is about 40 miles south of Chicago, a very well-known high school and very well-known district. The school has become one of the 2 spotlight high schools in the state of Indiana and made Newsweek's 2010 Best of America's High Schools. His innovative assessment modeling with ACT has resulted in 9 out of 10 sophomores being college-ready in English language arts. Finally, his most innovative breakthrough at Crown Point High School is a dual credit model with Indiana University and Purdue University, where this year students have earned over 2,100 Big Ten college credits at a tuition savings, and I think he told me now, of $1 million to the Crown Point community. I won't steal his thunder because I think he's going to talk about it. But this has been a life changer for juniors and seniors in high school and an eye-opener for a lot of university professors that may not have thought that high school students and high school teachers could do such a phenomenal job with college courseware. The cornerstone of the American College of Education, affordable and accessible and accountable, are clearly reflected, all of them, in his leadership work. I'd like you to join with me in giving a sincere ACE welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Eric Ban.
Thank you, Dr. Nowakowski. Graduates, family, friends, honored faculty, and the administration of the American College of Education, I'm honored to be here to share this celebration with you. I asked myself, why me? When ACE has powerful relationships with so many interesting heavy hitters in the field of education. And I reflected on this question, and it came to me. Like ACE, I'm just a real person, like you, who is committed to making a difference for kids and community. The American College of Education is always modeling and leading by example. The example that's my origin is the American College of Education, and the vision of ACE is reflected in my work. I drive hard in the mission of ACE to influence others to do what's right for kids. And I have been part of how ACE conducts business, and I continue to do my work with the same passion and love. So I share these simple messages with you today. It's around origins, vision, leadership, and love. And I continue to ask myself these 4 questions. Where do you come from? What is your origin? Where are you going? What is your vision? How do you influence others to go with you? What is your leadership? And know that this work can only be done with love and passion. You have to wake up every morning excited about kids and the opportunities. So we'll start briefly with origins. Who has helped you to sit here on this awesome day? What is your origin? I'd like to share my origin briefly and share the origin of the American College of Education. My father was a professor of education at Indiana University Northwest in Gary, Indiana, right outside of Chicago. I was the little kid signing in Gary and East Chicago teachers at professional development workshops. In the 80s, he was ahead of his time with his focus on leadership for learning, However, he knew he had some serious work to do to develop a culture of learning in urban education. Not only was he a professor, he was a police commissioner and gang task force member to take his work into the streets to learn about how to mobilize a community in the service of kids. He walked into the CEO's office at Inland Steel in Gary, Indiana, and walked out with a $1 million commitment to construct the Inland Steel Golden Apple Awards to celebrate the best in teaching and learning on the South Shore in Northwest Indiana. He built a national award-winning program called the Urban Teacher Project to help new teachers more effectively work in urban settings. He published a book called PASS, Parents Assuring Student Success, where he picked up families in buses in the evenings and fed kids and trained parents on tools to support their learning at home. In short, he modeled the kind of creativity, innovation, and practical strategies, work ethic, and commitment that got results, and it ignites my fire to this day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't literally feel his influence in the work that I do. When I was a professor at Indiana University, I received a call from a dear friend. The challenge was to take a risk and come to work with some national thought leaders on a model of teacher education that aspired to dramatically impact our profession for the benefit of kids and communities. It was a vision of practical, powerful, affordable, and convenient approach to advanced degree programming. It was a vision of leadership and impact. Without hesitation, I said goodbye to the Big Ten and set a course to build a better future for our profession at the American College of Education. In the early development of ACE, I remember working with a national thought leader, Joe Murphy, at Vanderbilt. For those of you graduating in ed leadership, he was the leader of the ISLIC standards and a lot of the standards work that you do in your internships. Joe consulted on our program, and he told me one thing that I will never forget. He said that people routinely ask for his help and expertise. He said that he would not begin any work that he does not feel will have a profound impact on the field of education. He enthusiastically worked on the ACE leadership program, and I just aspire you to understand a little bit about the origin of the American College of Education. In the early days, ACE, we took a brave first cohort of Chicago Public School math and science coaches through the ed leadership program. One by one, they stepped into principal roles, and I talked to many of our alumni to this day. The last commencement I attended in Chicago had over 500 graduates in attendance. It was the largest graduate college of education commencement in the state of Illinois. At that ceremony, I spoke briefly and asked the graduates to place their right hand on the person's shoulder to their right. So I ask you to do this now, to place your right hand on the person's shoulder to your right. The origin of the American College of Education is a movement. It's a movement to ignite the fire of learning leadership, to make our work more equitable for kids, make learning more meaningful and connected and effective, to build a community of ACE alumni to do the things the ACE way. Leadership is very simple to me. It's about community building that supports learning for all kids and continuously improving. There is your origin. You are community builders. You have strength in numbers. Margaret Wheatley said that there's no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. You are and will always be part of the ACE community. Know your origin. Know the origin from this awesome institution we call the American College of Education. As with any good student, you are now waiting for your next instructions, and I now give you permission to stop touching your neighbor. Next is vision. Where is education going? We are experiencing some very fundamental shifts in education that I believe ACE has helped you to not only understand, but build a strong set of tools to lead. These shifts will be driven by better technology tools to help us understand the needs of people that we serve. In a Department of Education report called Transforming American Education, Learning Powered by Technology, you have experienced an ACE program that has demonstrated a vision for learning that is powerful for professionals. It is also powerful for kids, and it defines our future. The report states, just as technology is at the core of virtually every aspect of our daily lives and work, we must leverage it to provide engaging and powerful learning experiences, content, resources, and assessments that measure student achievement in more complete, authentic, and meaningful ways. Technology-based learning and assessment systems will be pivotal in improving student learning and generating data that can be used to continuously improve the education system at all levels. Technology will help us execute collaborative teaching strategies combined with professional learning that better prepare and enhance educators over the course of their careers. You are 21st century learners through the ACE program. You now have the modeling and tools to begin this type of work for your own kids. We are no different than the field of healthcare. Instead of wellness relationships around good data, we construct learning relationships around good data, and technology is going to help us do that. The chance that your students will effectively learn online in their lifetime is 100%. You have been prepared well to lead others in this vision. A couple fundamental shifts that we all feel in education. What was success for some is now quickly becoming success for all. What was technology as an option is now becoming technology as essential. What was relationships by chance has to become relationships by design. What has become isolated schoolwork does now have to become engaged communities. What was I feel has to now shift to the research says. And what was isolated breakthroughs in our field has to become real-time solutions for all, and that's innovation. And I'd like to challenge you on innovation and tell you a little story, by the way. Through the history of mankind, man has learned on the job in groups. The woolly mammoth hunt was on for a group of brave hunters. One hunter replayed a carefully designed move in his mind and approached the mammoth with his spear. He leaped and released the spear with lethal accuracy and precision. The tribe had food, clothing, and tools. The hunting move that produced results was not only celebrated, it was modeled throughout the tribe. The elders carefully documented and told the story of the move. Every hunter practiced the move. Every boy in the tribe emulated the move with any stick he could find. There are two important questions for you. How do we know when someone has taken down a mammoth? And then second, how do we celebrate, document, and practice this move so everyone begins to take down mammoths? Innovation has to spread like wildfire in education. How will you lead a vision of real-time solutions through technology tools modeled for you in the ACE program? I'll talk to you a little bit briefly about leadership, and this is a very different take. I was inspired to go back into the field of education after working for ACE, and the first thing I did was I gave all the secretaries Disney's 7 Secrets of Success. How appropriate. We then constructed a customer feedback card so every secretary could see their feedback on friendliness, follow-through, and accurate information in the high school. So I'm coming to you with a little leadership message that's a little different, okay? It's about marketing and sales. You have to market and sell as a leader. People want to be energized. They want to be excited about the product you have, internally and externally. Clarify your message and simplify what you do. I'll give you an example, as I say this at least 20 times a day. We have a mission at Crown Point High School, and that's to help all kids achieve to their potential. And when someone asks me a question, I just ask that question back. Are all kids achieving to their potential today? Well, if not, we got some work to do. We revised our mission statement with our student leaders, and the students said, you know what, to the potential is not bold enough. So we inserted the word beyond their potential. And I thought that was very powerful. So now I'm going to say that about 20 times a day as I walk through the building and people ask questions. And it's just a very simple message. We're here to do this work, and this work is not done. Another example at Crown Point High School is our vision. We only do 3 things well at the high school of 2,600 kids, okay? One is transition the heck out of freshmen. We work with our public, our non-public, anyone who's an 8th grader, anywhere around us who's coming to us, we find them, we work with them, and we transition them well into our high school. We had, this year, in a class of 650 students, we had, at the end of the first semester, 1 minor physical incident in a class of 650 kids. We embrace them. We have the older kids embrace them, mentor them, and create an environment of respect and civility. So transitioning freshmen. Second thing we do is we drive hard on 21st century learning. Teamwork, technology, tools, solutions, authenticity, those things. And then third, college and career programming. Once we get kids to demonstrate college readiness skills, then we deliver college and career programs to them like crazy. This year, we're going to deliver 5,000 college credits in our high school at a cost savings of $200 per credit hour. 5,000 times 200 is $1 million that our community is going to save on college tuition this year with Indiana University, Purdue University, and Ivy Tech State College. We're inspired by that work. I want you to think about driving equity in the work that you do as leaders. The moral dimension of our work, people hide behind their numbers. We had a great school in the eyes of many until I uncovered some real numbers. I opened up the yearbook and I just counted the number of kids with one number by their name. That means they're just a picture in this building. It was 25%. 750 kids. Way too many. I started to assign values and track students and good grades, good attendance, community service, sports and arts participation. Guess how many kids didn't get a ticket? 25%. We looked at our algebra failure numbers. Guess what that number was? 25%. We had a disengagement problem. So in a big high school that looks very successful, as leaders, you have to drive equity and uncover the real story. So what did we do? We listed every kid who didn't get a ticket, or every kid that we didn't have a metric on, and challenged every person in the building, custodians, secretaries, paraprofessionals, teachers, adopt these kids and get them a symbol of their connectivity with us, engagement with us. Help them do their community service. Get them to school every day on time. And so last year we reduced that number by 5%. And this year we're on target to reduce it by 5% again. We're down to 15%. And guess what our failure rate in Algebra 1 is? 15%. So we have a mission to drive equity in the building and a mission to eradicate disengagement through the real story. And that's what leaders do. We look pretty good with 20% of our kids getting AP 3s or better. But what about the other 80%? And that's why we brought in university partners to challenge the forgotten middle, to inspire kids. They can do the work if you provide it for them. And so 75% of our seniors this year will graduate with at least a 3 on an AP score or 3 college credits on their transcripts. And we want to move that number to 100%. Don't put up false barriers. Do you know how many people said, these kids can't do college work? Don't put up false barriers in your leadership. There's 2 signs that hang in the faculty mailroom where everyone walks every day. One, it says right when you leave the mailroom, the sign above it says, teach like a champion today. We're only 50 minutes from Notre Dame. And so as people walk out of the building, and as I walk out of the teacher mailroom, I smack that thing every day. Because we're going to teach like a champion today. The second sign that hangs in there is a maxim from West Point. And to think that our military leaders live by this code is awesome. Risk more than others think is safe. Care more than others think is wise. Dream more than others think is practical. And expect more than others think is possible. Live by an innovative code, get results, and be a leader. And I'm going to leave you with one last thing, and that's a little bit of love and passion. And I can't talk about it. We got to experience this together, okay? So, who comes to learn from you? Who wants to follow you as leaders? Have you discovered your fire? You know, last night we were listening to some music in B.B. King's place here in Orlando and got a little rhythm going. So we're going to sing together, okay? So I'm going to lay down a little rhythm here, and I'm going to say a little heys and hoes, and you're going to respond. Then I'm going to sing a little message to you. Then we're going to sing a little hey and ho together, call and response, and we're going to have a little fun, okay? Because we're going to experience this passion and love together as we finish. So, hey, 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 hey. Come on, Ace Grass, there's a place I know, somewhere in Florida you don't have to go. For goodness sake, it's an online sensation. Give it up for the American College of Education. Hey, 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 hey. I say ho, 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 ho. Here's a key message that comes from above. Origins, vision, leadership, and love. It's a celebration of your master's degree. We'll see you in a year for your PhD. Hey, 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 hey. I say ho, 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 ho. Very nice, very nice. I hope you do everything in your life with passion and love and discovering your fire every day with kids. I leave you with one final quote, my favorite quote. It's from a French theologian, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, and the tides, we shall harness for God the energy of love. And for the second time in the history of the world, man will discover fire. Congratulations.